Hey out there, and welcome to another edition of Reality NSFW's coverage of Big Brother Canada 10. I am your host, Brent Wolgamott, and you are not seeing things. Bobby cannot be here this week, so I am solo dolo recapping this episode of Big Brother Canada, and it's going to be really exciting. I've never done one of these things solo before, but as you guys know, I can talk like I can read a phone book and try to make it sound interesting. So I'm so here for this. I've got opinions about this week of Big Brother, what went down, who our favorites are, who everybody's going after. So let's break it down. I do want to start off by telling you guys, though, since I am solo tonight, if you are brave enough, and I'll be nice, just letting you know, but if you're brave enough and you want to come on and podcast with me and just, share your opinions on what's going on. You don't have to be here for a long time. You could be here for a short time. You could be here for 5 minutes. You can come on, and actually, you don't even really need to show your face. As long as I know who you are, you can send me a message on DM at One Lucky Gay on Twitter. I can send you the link, and we can have some fun. I tried, Mary. I tried, girl. I tried to get somebody to come on, but I couldn't. It's just me tonight. So you guys can be my co-host tonight in the chat, and we're gonna have a good time. If you do send me something in my Twitter DMs, make sure you say something in the chat. Otherwise, I probably won't see it because I'm not going to be checking it every freaking second. But let's break it down. What happened on this episode of Big Brother Canada? By the way, Bobby is he's babysitting tonight. As you guys know, he has a newborn baby, and his wife's working tonight, and so he has to watch the baby. And obviously, you can't do podcasting and watch the baby at once. So it's just me tonight. Let's break it down and talk about this episode of Big Brother Canada. Obviously, here's what's going on. Gino is the HOH. As you know from the episode, he put up 2 pawns in Moose and Summer with the intention to backdoor Marty. Now, ignoring the fact for a moment that this is a terrible plan by Gino, and JC Lynn is the only person with common sense in this showmance, it is amazing to me how hard and how much he worked to make this plan go through, how lucky he got with the veto draw, only for the thing of all things to happen in the veto competition for Helena to win it and basically save Gino from making a fatal mistake to his game. And I truly believe it would have been a fatal mistake. If Gino had succeeded in backdooring Marty, I am 100% confident that literally every house guest left in the game besides JC Lynn, if they won HOH, would have targeted the showmance. I hope you guys are with me on that, because that's the tea. And I think JC Lynn knows it. And we're going to get to her decision about the secret power of veto. But I have to tell you, I am so psyched about this week, because here's the thing about secret powers in the Big Brother house, because I'm just gonna, I'm very stream of consciousness. I'm gonna talk off the top of my head and what I'm feeling in the moment, and it ended with the secret power. So let's talk about the secret power. The thing about secret powers in the Big Brother house, it's like if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, did it make a sound? It's like that with these powers. Like, we didn't even know that there was going to be a power. Arissa didn't tell us last week on the Thursday eviction, like, hey, look out for the secret mission. There's going to be a secret veto introduced into the house. We weren't teased on it at all, at least not to my knowledge. And all of a sudden, it just pops up on Monday out of nowhere, or Sunday, or whenever the hell she found it. I forget. But point being that it seemed a little too convenient. I was positive when I saw that there was a secret veto being released into the house that they had used it and that Marty had been backdoored, because that's what everybody wanted to have happen. And I thought they were just going to give Twitter what they wanted. But not so, man. Not so. And I'm kind of glad for it. I love it that this power flopped, because screw you, Global, for not letting us watch this on the feeds. This would have been so kick-ass to watch Jace going around the house, trying to figure out stuff, going into the phone room, trying to open doors, not get caught, because we have seen all this before. Lest you guys forget, we've already seen all of this before. In Big Brother Canada 2, Allison, who we fucking love, went into the Big Brother house a few weeks late, but quickly managed to assert herself and find herself in a really great position when, in the week that John was HOH and trying to backdoor Arlie, that's what his name was, she found a secret power of veto, and we got to watch the entire thing on the feeds, and it was so fucking cool. I really was here for that. And I mean, I was glued to the feeds at the time, and I wasn't even that big of a feed watcher. I hadn't started podcasting yet with our HAP when Big Brother Canada 2 was happening. So it was just the fanboy in me that loved it. And I was so freaking psyched to see her. She had to go to the pool, and then she had to get a hockey puck that was floating at the bottom of the pool. And then she had to push this door open and have nobody around, find her. And the cameras followed her basically up until the very last moment when she opened the door and then found the secret veto. And that's when the cameras predictably cut. And that was totally fine by everybody watching it on the feeds. But for some reason, just to be clear, that was Slice TV. That was when Slice was doing the feeds for Big Brother Canada. But now it's fucking Global TV. And I have my own thing to pick with Global tonight. But Global TV is like the fun sucker. They don't show anything on the feeds because they think, oh, if we don't show it on the feeds, then they'll turn in on the real show. Never mind that we're totally disinterested in the show as it is because they block so much of the feeds. We don't know what's going on. We didn't even know what this power was, if it really was a secret power, if somebody had used it. And then once we figured out if they had used it or not, did it expire? We weren't, because, we didn't have the official announcement from Big Brother, so we didn't have all of the information. We didn't have the official information, I should say. And it was really, really frustrating watching this on Monday play out, only to find out in the end, it really didn't matter. Nothing happened. She didn't use the veto. And I have to say, again, like I said, it's so fun to watch a power flop because good for her. Everyone always says they just want the game to play out as is. And this is the game playing out, man. I love that JC Lynn was smart enough to realize, in spite of what her man was trying to do, that backdooring Marty was the last thing that they should be doing at this moment. Somebody else is going to backdoor Marty. You should not be the one to do it, Gino. It's so amazing to me that he was once again going to try to make the whole house happy, basically, by backdooring Marty after he made the whole house happy by backdooring. Yeah, that was Gino, right? Yeah, Gino backdoored Kyle. So I had a brain fart for a second. I'm like, who backdoored Kyle? Was it Marty? No, it was freaking Gino. Gino backdoored Kyle the week that Kyle went home just to make the house happy. And I actually supported that move at the time. I know some people over at RHAP and some other podcasters didn't really love that move. They thought for sure, you're sending home an ally. It doesn't look good for you. But I think that Gino's been doing really, really well in spite of that and has got himself down this far in numbers for Big Brother Canada 10 with a real shot at winning it. And Marty is still in the game. That's a target in front of him. I think there are a lot of people in the house who might put something like Gino and Marty up on the block just to make sure one of them goes home. But I think that Gino's in as good of a spot he can be in, given that his plan blew up on him for the HOH. By the way, if you guys don't want to podcast with me, you can also just submit questions in the chat and I will try to read them. It's not easy podcasting and trying to scour the chat for potential questions at the same time. So I'm trying to go back and see if you have already asked one. But I know that there's some people who disagree out there. Tracy says she disagrees. Talking about keeping Moose would help the showmance, and removing Marty would take out a number from CTD, meaning the crash test dummies. So I'm sort of with you to a certain extent on that. I think there's an argument to be made, Tracy, but I just think that Marty is such a volatile, massive target in front of them. And also, the showmance hasn't really gotten anything from Moose. I mean, maybe if JC Lynn stood up in that ceremony and exposed herself as the secret power of veto holder and said, Moose, I heard your plea. I'm going to save you. Maybe then he would have worked with them. But I still think that gratitude would have lasted like half a minute. And then the showmance would have been back in everybody's crosshairs. I mean, maybe Moose doesn't go for the showmance, but I don't think Marty's going for the showmance right now either. So I think that's sort of a moot point. I do agree with you that taking away Marty takes away a number from Kevin. and Helena. But I just on balance, I think I'm in favor of JC Lynn not using the power of veto and keeping Marty in the house for another week. And I know that's driving everybody crazy. I know everybody's pissed about that. I know it was everybody's worst nightmare, Helena winning the veto. But it happened. That's Big Brother, man. I love Big Brother when it's unpredictable like this. It's really, really fucking cool. By the way, congrats, Helena. That was a really tough veto. I thought it was like some gimme veto that she won, but that was really tough and hard to solve and hard to balance. And I love that she did all of that and won herself a veto and got herself a little bit of currency in the game. I see a lot of the hate that she gets on Twitter, and I think most of it's unjustified. She sends home your faves, and you're mad at her. You can be mad at her, but don't say that she's a bad person. You can say she's a bad player. Just don't say she's a bad person. I actually don't think she's a bad player. I think she's a very good player and has a good head on her shoulders and is in a really, really great alliance with Kevin right now, basically deciding who goes home each and every week with nobody coming for literally either of them next week. It's an amazing position for her to be in. And I just want to give it up to Helena because she's killing it out there, you guys. Kevin, dude, it's really interesting watching Kevin this week because as you guys know, Kevin, Helena, and Marty, of course, were all left out of the big plan to backdoor Marty. And that's what really bit Gino in the butt here when Helena won the veto, because he might have been able to butter her up ahead of time, keep the lines of communication open, really try to do something to ensure that no matter what happened in the veto competition, that the veto would be used, that Marty would be backdoor. Worked with Helena, especially with Kevin in her ear, but he could have tried it. But the fact that Kevin and Helena and Marty were left out of this plan really showed Kevin, hey, I'm not at the top of the list anymore. I'm not controlling the whole game like I thought I was. I think Kevin going into this week really thought that he was controlling the entire game. And now he realizes that it's actually Josh that is the linchpin for everything, because Josh has been spilling a lot of tea to Kevin. He was the one who spilled about the backdoor plan for Marty and really showed Kevin that Josh has been playing a hardcore game. And there was a really fun moment where Josh and Kevin looked at each other and Kevin looked at Josh like, oh, you're the betrayer. You're the one who's playing the game. And Josh is like, well, thank you. You know, like that. And Kevin's like you could see it like, bing, like a light bulb went off on Kevin. Like, wow, Josh is playing a lot harder than I thought he was. And I need to be afraid of him. And it wasn't long after that Kevin actually started talking about getting Josh out pretty soon. Like, I think Kevin wants the showmance up next week, but if something goes wrong, I think he would be fine sending Josh out right now, because Josh has gotten to be a very, very studious player in the Big Brother house. And Kevin is right to be afraid of him, but he's keeping him close for now. Let me scour the feeds for the chat for some questions. Feeds used to be easily accessible in America until BB Can 8. I wonder why. Again, I think it's global. You guys, I was watching Video Brother earlier tonight, and I know I have a VPN and I can watch Big Brother Canada, but for the longest time I've always used Video Brother, and it's always been very dependable. But dude, tonight Global was blocking it like left, right, and center. Sometimes they would create a new link for the episode and it would be blocked 5 seconds into it. It was actually kind of amazing. I was kind of bummed watching Video Brother because they had to like restart about 8 different times. Thank you to the person out there, I think her name is Heather, who is doing the links for Video Brother. You were an absolute lifesaver tonight. But it was really hard to watch the episode, and I almost gave up on doing the podcast tonight because I couldn't really watch the episode and enjoy it because I kept having to click a new link. So screw you, Global, for always blocking Video Brother. Like I said, sometimes like the link wasn't even up for 2 seconds and it was already blocked again. So Global obviously has a hard on to make it miserable for American fans to watch Big Brother Canada. And, you know, you get what you get. I mean, like people lose interest in Big Brother Canada. People forget that it was American fans primarily that really spurred Big Brother Canada to be renewed when it was originally canceled after Big Brother Canada 5. RHAP in particular was responsible for getting all of these fans to sign the petition that finally got Global's attention, that really got them excited about producing 5 more seasons of Big Brother Canada. And that's the reason the show is still on the air, is because of that petition. Make no mistake. I know a lot of people may forget about that, but that's the tea. That's what happened. Big Brother Canada was put on hiatus. No more. They weren't going to do anymore. But it was because of that petition that really got things going. And there were a lot of North American fans, specifically a lot of USA fans, who signed that petition, who really got the numbers up for that petition. So I don't know why Global has a hard on to try to block it and make it as difficult as possible for people to watch Big Brother Canada. I mean, it's not like we're doing anything. They don't need to go out of their way to block it. It's already hard enough to watch it as it is. Are you guys with me on that? Okay, cool. All right. Video Brother is terrible. Look, they're doing what they can. I know they had to restart 9 times, but they can't be held accountable for Global blocking their feed. You've been watching Taryn's Discord lately? Taryn's Discord is great. I watch Taryn's Twitch stream a fair amount. I still lurk. I haven't come out of hiding yet, but you may see me around there sometime soon. Let's talk about the episode still. Like I said, the veto competition was a lot of fun. I like that it had 2 parts. However, it became fairly evident early on that the only part that mattered was the puzzle. It's like Survivor all over again. Yeah, you had to use your gun to get this gunk off the teeth or whatever with the Philips Sonicare brush or whatever. But it was the puzzle that was really the only thing that mattered. They got a great veto draw. Like I said, Summer got JC Lynn, Moose picked Josh, and then Helena was spun on the wheel. So that was the only person who couldn't win the veto for Gino's plan to go through, and she hadn't won a veto or a competition all summer. And then out of nowhere, Helena wins the freaking power of veto, which I was living for, just because I knew that's what Kevin wanted. And I wanted Kevin to get his way this week because it's really been fun watching Kevin. And it wasn't so fun watching Kevin this week when I knew he was out of the loop. And then once Helena got the power, then Josh came to him, then other people came to him and sort of spilled the tea on what's been happening behind their back. And Kevin realized, oh, I've been out of the loop for this week, and people didn't trust me with information. That leads me to believe that I am at the bottom of the totem pole with a lot of these people. But again, it's really, really ironic that he feels that way, because JC Lynn and Gino were talking earlier this week, and they actually want to take Kevin and Helena further into the game than they do Betty and Josh, who they made a Final Four with. And that's amazing to me, because they treated Kevin and Helena so badly by not informing them of the backdoor plan that, of course, Kevin and Helena don't feel indebted to JC Lynn and Gino. They don't feel like they were included in the plan at all. But JC Lynn and Gino want to take Kevin and Helena to the end. I mean, if you want to take them to the end, then you need to treat them equally as partners. But Gino and Jace only want to treat them as baggage to bring to the end, to beat. And I think Kevin said it best earlier in this week when he noted that, everybody's a player in this house. Like, don't be sleeping on anybody, because anybody could ruin your game in the Big Brother house. I mean, who would have predicted, out of all people, that JC Lynn got the secret veto, that she was the one to go up to the flowers? And again, this kills me, you guys, because again, this is the exact same way, and they've repeated so many twists this season, so many iconic competitions. The phone call at the beginning of the first episode was just like the phone call from Suzette in season 1 of Big Brother Canada. If you saw flowers upstairs, I would have literally been hoofing it. If you're a super fan of Big Brother, and I don't know how Kevin didn't find this, if you're a super fan of Big Brother, you know that if flowers just appear out of nowhere in the Big Brother Canada house, that they're hiding something. Now, I will say this. Oh my God, Big Brother Canada did a great job of concealing the little scroll that had the clue because it was the same color as the rose. That was very, very cool. And kudos to them, because I think like 5 different people, I think every house guest came by and looked at the flowers and sort of like haphazardly looked to see if there was a clue. It's amazing to me because you saw the time on the episode. They were let back into the house around noon, Big Brother time, and it wasn't until 7:00 that night that Jace found the clue for the secret veto, which means that clue was sitting out there for freaking 7 hours, and somehow Kevin, super fan, RHEP fan galore, did not find the secret veto. I don't know how that happens. How does that happen? I don't. I mean, I have to believe he watched season 2 of Big Brother Canada. Does nobody remember the iconic scene where Allison is walking around the house trying to find the other clues and not get caught? I mean, it's all, you can watch it on YouTube. It was actually a really, really fun time. Again, we got to watch it all on the feeds, and it was a lot of fun. So anyway, so I'm going to ask you guys to put your questions in the chat. And like I said, if you want to come on and talk with me and spill some tea and talk some shit about Big Brother Canada, you can do that. We're going to take a quick break right now because this is going to be probably a shorter episode tonight. I'd say about 45 minutes. We're going to take a quick break for commercials. And then when we come back, I'm going to talk about the end of the episode and where I think the show should go from here, what's happened with the twists and the doors, and also who everybody is targeting for next week. All right. So let us take a commercial break.
Lucy Nicotine is a company founded by Caltech scientists and former smokers looking for a better and cleaner nicotine alternative. Finally, tobacco alternatives that don't suck.
Researched and developed for 3 years to be made for people, not patients. Lucy has created a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine that comes in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, and pomegranate. Lucy also has a lozenge with 4 milligrams of nicotine in cherry ice flavor. Each and every flavor actually tastes great, and it's convenient and discreet. Products can be enjoyed anywhere, on flights, at work, on the go, or even in the gym.
I am so happy that Lucy is sponsoring us. Ever since they came on board, I have gotten no less than 5 of my friends transitioned over to Lucy and put their cigarettes down. They like the gum. I'm used to seeing the packages all around. This stuff is great, and it's really helping people make much healthier choices. So get on board and join the Lucy movement.
Hey, it's 2021. Get rid of your cigarettes, unplug your vape, throw out your dip, and get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. This is the real deal. A subscription to Lucy comes directly to your door each month. It's so simple that you don't even have to leave your house because Lucy has delivery down.
Reality NSFW listeners, go to lucy.co and use promo code SURVIVOR to get 20% off all products, including gum or lozenges. That's lucy.co and use promo code SURVIVOR at checkout. Also, I have to give this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's lucy.co, and be sure to use that promo code SURVIVOR.
This episode of Reality NSFW is sponsored by Blue Chew. Say it with us, Blue Chew. Blue Chew is making waves and bringing more confidence to the bedroom by offering chewable tablets that can help men get stronger and longer lasting erections. That's right, we're giving away super hard dicks.
Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's tablets help men achieve harder, stronger erections to combat all forms of ED.
Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so no visits to the doctor offices, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And it ships right to your door in a discreet package. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And the best part, it's all done online.
Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem here. Blue Chew's sildenafil and tadalafil tablets are chewable. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and they prepare and ship direct, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy.
Hey, if you're looking to give that immunity idol to someone, or you don't want to be voted out of a crater, don't worry, Blue Chew's got you covered. So if you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information.
And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code SURVIVOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's Blue Chew, BlueChew.com, promo code SURVIVOR to receive your first month free. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
We're all trying to eat better, but healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring. Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors you love, but without all the bad stuff. And it's amazing as a midnight snack right before bed.
0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. That's only 140 calories per serving.
It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. And build your own box. Available flavors to build your very own custom bundle are cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and my favorite, maple waffle. Now, Magic Spoon recently brought back their 2 super popular flavors, cookies and cream and maple waffle. Thank goodness. But they're back permanently. And when these flavors were first introduced for a limited time, they sold out extremely quickly. Now, I'm here to let you know you can get them again or try them for the first time. Why? Because they're delicious and indulgent.
Johnny, Magic Spoon has so many great flavors that I really enjoy, and even my kids enjoy them. We have the cocoa, fruity frosted, peanut butter. All these are really great combinations. They enjoy waking up in the morning and getting some Magic Spoon right off to start their day great before they head off to school. I think everybody listening should give Magic Spoon a try, or if you've tried them already, it's time to reorder. Let's get you some more Magic Spoon and get your day started right.
Hey, when I finish a podcast late at night, the first thing I'm thinking is not sleep. It's let me grab a delicious bowl of Magic Spoon before I go to bed.
So go to magicspoon.com/survivor to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code SURVIVOR at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/survivor and use the code SURVIVOR to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this podcast.
Hey, we're back. Wow, it's so weird when you're by yourself hosting this gig, I have to tell you, because I was like, so are the commercials just going to stop and then I'm going to get a chance to continue talking? I think that's basically what happens. So I've been watching the chat, and you guys definitely have some thoughts about this season of Big Brother. You also have some thoughts about Survivor, but we're not here to talk about Survivor. We'll talk about Survivor later, or maybe at another time when I guessed on Alex's show with the Survivor deep dive or something. Let's talk Big Brother Canada. So as I said, it was phenomenal to me that 7 hours pass and every single one of those house guests saw the flowers. We know that they saw the flowers. Kevin saw the flowers. Helena saw the flowers. Everybody saw the flowers. Everybody came up and looked at the flowers. Marty sat next to the flowers. It's amazing to me that that clue was up there for 7 hours. And then finally, Jace, of all people, finds the clue. And of course, we didn't get to see any of it on the feeds. That would have been phenomenal if we did. But fuck you, Global. We hate you. And you're miserable for the fans. You're no fun, and you block the feeds too much. So fuck you. We hate you. That's just the tea. But Jace finds the secret veto clue. She jumps to, like, this is the funny part to me, and I tweeted this out. She has to, so she finds the phone number, which means she has to go secretly to the phone room, then dial the phone number. Then he gives her a thing to do. I think she has to she has to go to the 3 unopened doors to find the keys, and she can't be discovered when she's doing it. So she manages to go to all 3 doors that have already been opened and get the keys that are now inside. Once she does that, then she comes back to the phone, calls him again. Now he gives her a riddle, and she had to get back into the phone room without anybody discovering her. So she did that once more. Then he gives her a riddle to solve, which didn't take her too long to solve. And she figures out that the number is 11. She goes to the door, opens it. Ta-da! You win the secret power of veto. Psych, you don't win the secret power of veto. You got to solve a fucking puzzle. And like, this is the point in time where I was like rolling my eyes at Arissa Cox, because Arissa comes on, obviously pre-taped, and she's like, congratulations, random house guest, on getting this far in your quest to earn secret power in the house, but you're gonna have to earn it. And I'm like, bitch, she already earned it. Did you not watch what she just did? Like, we spent like 10 minutes with her doing various things, and you're saying that she hasn't earned it yet. But apparently not. She has to solve a puzzle for the secret power, which they haven't told her what the secret power is yet. So she solves the puzzle with 5 seconds to spare for the secret puzzle, which again, she kept saying, stay calm, stay calm. Girl, I'd have been freaking out if it got down to 30 seconds and I still had like 5 pieces out. Like that was a close call, I gotta say. But she did it. She didn't pull a Caitlin Herman. She managed to solve the puzzle in the allotted time and did what the producers wanted her to do and find the secret power. And it is revealed by Arissa that it's a secret power of veto. Just like Allison in Big Brother Canada 2. And you can use it after the original veto has already been used. And it's good for one more week, meaning this week. It's only, what I'm trying to say is it's only good for this week. Boo. That's the part that's where they screwed up. Why in the world would you make it good for only 1 week? Allison's veto was good for 2 weeks, and she ended up using it, and it was amazing TV. You have to know that somebody's going to be in danger this week or next. If somebody's not in danger this week, they're probably going to be in danger next week. Why not give her 2 weeks? I don't understand. After she did all of that, for it to be good only for 1 week, meaning the week that you're currently on. That really rubbed me the wrong way. I was really hoping that she had a 2-week veto, because you know that she's going to be on the block next week next to her boyfriend if most of the house guests win HOH. And it really sucks that basically she won a power that, I mean, she was already not in danger this week. So who the hell cares if she won a power or not? Basically, her winning the power just kept it away from other people winning the power, which I guess is a good enough reason in the Big Brother Canada house. You don't want powers floating around that you can't control. But again, it would have been so much better if the veto was good for 2 weeks rather than 1 week. And I guarantee you, everybody, if after it was announced at the ceremony that they didn't use it this week, people would have been speculating like crazy about next week. It would have been really, really phenomenal TV. It would have been great for the feeds, and we would have loved it. But of course, Big Brother Canada producers don't know what the fuck they're doing half the time, and they don't know how to give the fans what they want. Okay. So Mary wanted me to rate the house guests. I will rate them, and I will also tell you who I think they're going to be targeting next week if they win HOH. Now, let's start with Moose, because for those of you, I didn't even talk about this. For those of you who haven't been watching the feeds, obviously Gino's plan didn't work. Marty did not get backdoored. Summer and Moose remain frozen on the block, and there's no replacement nominee to be named. And the secret veto wasn't used. So it's Moose or Summer going home. And I got news for you Moose fans out there. Unless he pulls a rabbit out of the hat, it's going to be Moose heading out the door. And it really comes down to Kevin and Helena. That's really what's happening here. Kevin and Helena are just in charge of everything. They have all the information. They know what was going to happen. They know that they were left out of the plan. I don't think that Helena is fully aware of the fact that she was totally left out of the plan, but Kevin has basically told her, yeah, my gut was feeling that they were going to backstab us. But of course, Kevin has all the information because Josh spilled the tea to him. Kevin is playing it very close to the vest. So like I said, Moose is going to go home this week. So I'm going to give him a 1 because I really don't see that changing. I don't see Kevin changing his mind. I think Kevin knows that it's better for the showmance if Moose stays, and which is the exact reason that Tracy was saying earlier about why Jace should have used the secret veto on Moose, because the Moose staying is better for the showmance. But I think Moose is going to go home tomorrow. So let's rate everybody else. Summer, I don't think Summer realizes how bad her game has gotten. Her social game is like, it's like literally in the trash at this point. Nobody is including her in their long-term plans. It used to be that Summer was at the top of the house, you guys, and now she's like, I'd put her at the bottom. I'm trying to think of, is there anybody else in the house that I would put below her? I mean, equity-wise, if she gets to the end, do I think she can win? Yes, but it's not a slam dunk. And she doesn't really have any allies working with her. Her only other ally in the house was Gino, who she had a little bit of a flirtmance with, and he put her on the block. So you tell me. I really don't know what Summer can do from here. I'm going to give her a 3. I really don't like her social game. She's not maintained bonds with the people that she needs to, and too many people see her as expendable, which is a bad place to be when you're in the late game, like she is right now. I will say, if Summer did win HOH next week, she would definitely target Gino. She'd probably put JC Lynn up on the block next to him, maybe Marty, but probably JC Lynn. And she'd want to target Gino and get him the fuck out of here because she wants help. She wants payback for this week. Let's talk about Helena. If she won HOH, I think Helena would also target the showmans. Helena, if she won HOH, would target the showmans. I'm going to give Helena a 6 right now. I think that Kevin is still driving the bus on this partnership, but I do think that Helena can win. I know that Herman was not impressed with Helena at all, and he was impressed with Kevin, but if they both get to the end, they're going to have to vote for somebody. Also, I think that the fact that she won this veto did give her some currency and got her and Kevin some information in the house that they didn't previously have. I do think she's positioned incredibly well in the house. I'm looking at everybody's targets. Nobody's coming for Helena next week. She just won the power of veto and pissed off most of the house by not using it. And yet nobody is coming for Helena next week. So I think you have to give her a pretty good score. 6 may be even too low, but I'm looking at her win equity. And right now, I think she gets beaten by most people. She's going to have to, she has to do a little work on that front. I'll say that. Let's see. So those are the 2 people that are going to target Gino, as well as Kevin. Kevin, if he wins HOH next week, is also going to target the showmans. So I'm feeling very confident. I'm going to give Kevin a 9. I don't think that Kevin is set as far as win equity goes. Herman was not feeling Kevin at all. However, I do think that if he gets to the end, he's a really good public speaker and he's very endearing with people, sort of like Steve in Big Brother US, that if he gets to the end of the game, Big Brother 17, if he gets to the end of the game, I really would not want to sit against him in the final 2. He has all the information. He knows who's with who, what they're doing, who they're going after. He knows where all the pieces on the game board go. And this week could not have gone better for him, considering how badly he was out of position at the beginning of the week and how good he's in position at the end of the week. So it's a 9 for Kevin. And I love what he's doing in the house. I really love that. So those are the 3 people that would target the showmans, and Gino specifically. Let's talk about the 2 people that would target Marty. Betty is one of those people. Betty, if she gets to the end of the game, I can totally see her winning. She's got a mouth on her. She's fiery like I am, and she just lets people have it. And I'm so here for that. However, I do feel like she got a little unlucky with the way things shook out this week. Also, the fact that people are coming, a few people, Kevin, Helena, are not feeling Josh as of now, who is her final 2 ride or die. That may be a little bit of a fly in the ointment. I think that Betty's playing pretty well, but she still lets her mouth get her in trouble sometimes. And even though I love to see it from an entertainment point of view, I'm not feeling it from a strategic point of view. I'm going to give her a 5. I'm going to give her a score just under Helena because I think that she's positioned pretty well in the house, but not very well in the house. Like, there are some people who would throw her up there, and if she went home, oh well, and you never want to be in that position. The other person who would target Marty is her final 2 mate, Josh. Josh would also target Marty. I don't know how he would do it. I don't know if he'd put Marty straight up like with Gino or something, or because they're totally faking that showman's alliance. Betty and Josh are really not in a final 4 with JC Lynn and Gino. They're just saying they are. So I don't know how Josh would go about getting Marty out of the house, if he would try to backdoor him again, or if he would just put him straight up. I just feel like at this point, you just put up Marty and Gino and just let the cards fall where they may. I mean, that's at least one of them goes home then. At least one of them goes home. I know you're pissing off the other one, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's getting a little too far down to the wire here. Next week, one of them absolutely has to go home. It must be either Marty or Gino going home, period. End of story next week. That's what has to happen. So like I said, Josh would also target Marty. So there's 3 people that would target Gino, 2 people that would target Marty. And then there are 2 people that have a little bit of revenge on their mind. Jace is one of those people. Jace actually would target Summer if she won HOH next week after Gino's HOH reign. And that would be very interesting because I don't know how she's going to actually get Summer out of the house. I mean, she can put Summer up on the block, but they still have to vote her out. And I think a lot of people aren't really fearful of Summer right now, and they shouldn't be. Her social game is in the trash. So I don't know how you get her out of the house at this point. Marty, if he won HOH, I mean, Marty is totally unpredictable. I'm sorry, I forgot to give a score for Jace. Or maybe I forgot to give a score for these other people. Jace, I'm going to give her a 5. Actually, I think she did some good by winning the veto and not using it. It really did better her position in the game, and I think she's going to be able to argue that at the end. She's actually not drawing dead. I know a lot of people are not feeling her out there. We famously call her Burlington Coat Factory because, we're just making fun of her. But she's in it to win it, you guys. And I love the fact that she was bold enough not to use a power that, the producers were trying to get her to use for the show. Like, that they were trying to get her to use the power, and she didn't do it. So I'm feeling her. Josh, I'm going to give him an 8. I know that I forgot to give him a score. If he gets to the end, I think he hands down wins. That's the thing about Josh. But he made some mistakes this week, you guys. He's trusting Kevin way too much, giving up information to Kevin that he didn't have to give up and that otherwise would have been concealed from Kevin. So I'm really bummed about Josh. Also, him throwing the competition. Can we talk about the fact, I didn't even bring this up with you guys earlier. Can we talk about the fact that Big Brother on the episode was clearly showing Josh putting pieces together that clearly did not fit together? Like, he was obviously throwing the competition to Helena, and Big Brother did not address it at all on the episode tonight. So maybe 8 might be a little high. I might go down to a 7 for Josh because I do think he's being outplayed by Kevin at this point. I don't think he's playing badly, but unfortunately for Josh, if you play badly to the wrong person and that wrong person was Kevin, I think that your game could go up in smoke. So it's going to be a 7 because I love his win equity, but he would have been in the driver's seat if Marty had gone home, and Marty's not going home. So we'll see what happens to Josh. And like I said, the last person is Marty. Marty's targeting Betty currently, but again, I think he would probably put up Betty and Josh together, and maybe he would change his mind and want Josh to go home. So again, Josh is in a little bit of a danger there as well, because you never know with Marty. Also, Marty wanted to get Josh out before, so why wouldn't he do it again? I mean, he's done that with Gino. Marty has been absolutely insufferable this week. He said that he doesn't want to go after Gino because he's burned him twice already, and he doesn't want to do that in front of Canada. He doesn't want Canada to see him do it a third time. And I'm like, who the fuck cares? Canada saw you do it the first time and the second time, you backstabber, when you backstabbed him in the back. Does nobody remember that? Does Marty not remember that? Does Marty just think he's been absolved of that from Canada? I mean, I'm not someone who believes in doing what Canada wants. I'm just saying, if you're someone who lives by that mantra, what happened to the first 2 times that you backstabbed Gino? Do you think that the country just forgave you for that, and now all of a sudden the third time you just can't bring yourself to do it? I think it's even more imperative that Marty disassociate himself from Gino now and target him, simply because of the fact that he has already backstabbed him twice. And if you backstab somebody twice, they're going to remember it, as we saw with Gino this week when he tried to backdoor Marty. I have to believe if Marty wins HOH again, that he's going to find out about Gino trying to backdoor him. And he's going to have to take the shot. He's going to have to take the shot. Maybe he doesn't, but I think Kevin could probably get him to take the shot at Gino, because how can you not after he just tried to backstab you? But I don't know. We'll see. Marty has this weird infatuation with Gino. By the way, I would obviously like to say that I have a weird infatuation with Gino, but for an entirely different reason. Did you guys see the Speedos that he was wearing in the house all day yesterday? I'm just saying. Women wear bikinis all the time in the Big Brother USA house and in the Big Brother Canada house. And it was great that a guy with a body like that was walking around the house with all of his gingerbread showing and everything in a little speed. Actually, it wasn't a little speedo. It was a great speedo. It was a tight speedo. It was fantastic. He was just walking around the house with that speedo, and I was living for it. I know, Mary, we weren't living for the gingerbread, but we were living for the body. I'm living for the body. Okay. The guy's hot as hell. Okay. I don't know. You never know what boys are packing. It's impossible to tell. Some people are growers and not showers. So I'm not going to judge him on a speedo, but I'm just saying, body wise, he was everything in that speedo. That was so cool. Watching a straight boy who's so comfortable with himself walking around the house in a goddamn speedo the entire fucking day. It was really, really fantastic. So I think, unless you guys have some questions, let me scroll through the chat here and see. Mary says, if Marty is safe and Gino is safe next week, Josh is the next option for Helena and Kevin. Yes, that is very true. Like I said earlier, Josh made a little mistake when he exposed the fact that he's been playing so hard to Kevin. Like I said, it dawned on Kevin where he was like, oh my God, you're the there. Like, you're the one who's playing the game. You're the one who I should be fearing. Like, he didn't say it like that, but you could tell in his brain that's what he was thinking when Josh was telling him, yeah, but I'm just playing Gino and Jace right now. And he's like, oh, well done. And he's like, well, thank you. Like that. Like, you could tell that Kevin is fearful of Josh, and he should be, because if Josh gets to the end, he hands down wins. And you can tell he's throwing these competitions left and right. By the way, you have to believe, if you're Gino, you could tell that Josh was trying to throw that competition. If I got house guest choice, I would never ever pick Josh for playing for me in the veto, because you know he's going to throw it. He just throws everything. I swear to God, we're going to get to the end of the game and Josh is still going to be throwing like the final 3 head of household competition or something like that. It fucks me up, man. Like I'm so down about that. Nowhere Man says, is Kevin on anyone's radar right now? No. That's the amazing thing. Kevin is not on anybody's radar. Not only that, JC Lynn and Gino see Kevin as somebody they want to pick up. They think he's not playing the game hard. They think he wants to be included. They want to make an alliance with him and make a threesome with him and take him further into the game, because they think he can be beat. As we're also talking about people that can be beat, let's also talk about someone that can't be beat. Marty. First of all, if he gets to the end of the game, I don't think he can win. Maybe he can. I mean, but there's some people that would definitely vote against him. But challenge-wise, girlfriend, he knows his stuff. He knows his trivia. He's been studying everything. He's just like Kevin Martin. He knows all of the trivia in the house. If he gets to the end, you know he's going to win those final competitions. You really got to... Marty has to go in the next 2 weeks. Period. End of story. I'm actually a little bit worried that Kevin waited 1 week too late to take him out. But upon evaluation, I agree with Kevin that I think it would actually be 2 weeks too early if you took out Marty, because like he said I'd rather be 1 week too early than 1 week too late. But I actually think taking out Marty here would have been 2 weeks too early. So I'm glad Kevin saw that they needed to not use the veto to freeze the nominations in place and force either Moose or Summer, who are doing nothing for either of their games, to go home. So yeah. Good job, Kevin. And like I said, nobody is coming for him right now. And also, Kevin has done a really good job of making sure that many of the house guests are putting Helena with Marty so that Kevin doesn't end up on the block next to Marty, even though he's really close to him, because Marty has a big mouth that has been telling everybody that I'm actually closer to Kevin than I am Helena. But Kevin has done a good job of making sure that Helena is being paired with Marty, because he saved her in the safety chain and she didn't use the veto so that he wouldn't be backdoored here. You got to think, if people put Marty on the block, they're probably going to put Helena up next to them. And that's all because of Kevin. Kevin has done a really good job of making sure that people realize that the two of those are together so that Kevin doesn't end up on the block. And Helena gets bit in the ass by a little bit of stuff coming from the other house guests. Should Helena should keep Marty over Kevin? So should Helena keep Marty over Kevin? You mean at the end of the game? I don't know. I think that if it's like Helena versus Marty at the end, I think Marty wins, at least right now. I think a lot of people just, they won't respect Helena, and maybe they don't like Marty, but they can at least say he played the game. I think Kevin is way better talker than Marty. So that's a really tough call. I think if Helena gets to the end with Kevin, she loses anyway. So I don't know. I think Helena needs to get to the end with like Jace or Summer, and even then she's not like automatically winning. Like, but she has to give herself a chance to win. If Kevin wins unanimously, will he be the #1 Big Brother Canada winner in your eyes? Yes, he will be. If he wins the game, he will be, because he's been phenomenal all season, you guys. I've loved watching Kevin. It's like we have a Dan Giesling reincarnated, and he's in the house and he's playing hard and he's literally controlling everything. And it's so fun to watch. And he's not even remotely in danger next week. Yeah, really, really psyched about Kevin. But he needs to stick the landing. He's got to win the game. And that's the thing. It's so hard to win the game at the end. We've seen so many people who were good players who fell at the end. You got to stick the landing. So yeah. And on that note, I think that's a good time to wrap up the show. You guys have been, it's okay, Mary. I know that English is not your first language. I understood the question. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you for joining us here on Reality NSFW. I'm going to go over to Survivor and watch the 2-hour episode and have a great time. And I'm also going to watch Big Brother Canada's eviction tomorrow to see who's the new HOH. But you can always find me on Twitter. I am at OneLuckyGay. That's one spelled out, ONE. And also make sure you subscribe to Reality TV. I almost said Reality TV wrap-ups, which is the old RHAP one. Reality NSFW. Make sure you subscribe to Reality NSFW. Again, I haven't hosted very much, so I forget all the lingo I got to use around here. And make sure to give this video a like, especially since I hosted Solo Dolo. If you guys could give the video a like, that would really, really be awesome, and it would make me feel a lot better. So for Bobby Goodsby and myself, I am Brent Wolgamott at OneLuckyGay. I will see you next week for our recap of Big Brother Canada. Bye.
And for more Reality NSFW content, visit adfreeNSFW.com.